To see, oh, que será, que será, que será. Children of my own, they ask their mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly, que sera, sera, yeah, babe. Whatever. Future's not ours to see, not to see. Que sera, que sera, que sera.
Good morning, Jubilee. Woo. So nice to see all of you here. So nice to be here with you. So nice to hear this band and these singers. Thank you, World B Band. Always a pleasure. So, we are here again in the middle of the Via Creativa. And we know it's the middle because we just had the cross-quarter day this week, sometimes known as Groundhog's Day or the day before St. Bridget's Day. You got to hear about St. Bridget last week. And that's halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, or at least that's what we call them in the northern hemisphere here, winter and spring. And that means we're halfway through this via. So today, we've been navigating the deep waters of this via, this path of creativity. And today we're navigating the deep waters of unknowing. So yesterday I was at a memorial service of a professor from college. And I got to spend time with several of my college friends and several of the professors. And we were laughing about that brief moment in time around age 19 when we all know everything. Some of you may still be in that moment. Most of us have passed it. It's that moment when we've outgrown our parents and our home, and we've got a year or so of independence under our belt, and we've learned just enough to be dangerous, and we're pretty sure that we have figured out things that no generation before us has ever known. It's a heady time. For me, it was followed by a crash into depression. To go from knowing to unknowing can be pretty frightening. God bless the people who are there to catch us when we fall. And life can be full of these moments when the love we were sure about begins to crumble, when the careers we've been building collapse, when the way we've been parenting doesn't seem to work for our kids and we feel helpless to help them. Or when the God we felt close to disappears and we can't find a connection to a sense of the holy again. Life plunges us over and over and over into those deep waters of unknowing. But what if this is not the end, but a new beginning? What if we have to lose our sense of purpose in order to find a sense of presence? What if, in spite of all appearances, all shall be well? So this morning we're going to lean into those possibilities, and we're going to start by singing our way in. Let's sing.
Thank you, World Beat Band, Paula. Jubilee, as we return back into the unknowing, learning, unlearning, re-educating, uneducating. As we step through these doors, we enter into a portal of awareness as we come together as a community. Maybe not knowing what this moment's going to bring to us, but having faith and hope that when we show up here, that something inside of us is fulfilled as we come out of this dark time of the solstice. When we come back and we start noticing that the days are longer and that the sun's up a little bit longer and there's more warmth to be had, more light to shine upon the path, even though we may not know where that path is leading us. We step into this portal of the unknown together as a community, to bring that unknown awareness that is innocence. So if we will, face to the east with me. Oh, ancestors of the east, of the mother, of the sun and the sky, we thank you for this opportunity to come back and to rest back within inside the womb of this sacred place that we know is home. To return to that place that we know is silence, to unlearn all these things that we think we know as human beings. Thank you for the warmth within the womb of the mother that takes us back to that safe harbor of silence and quietness, where the only language is the vibrational language between a mother and a child. We thank you for the unknown of the future and the great mystery. And we thank you, Sun Nation, for all the light and the warmth that you offer us. In a good way. Oh. Face to the south, please. Oh, ancestors of the south. It's with such gratitude that we come together as this community, as a seed within the womb of the mother, and we thank you, Water Nation, for nurturing that seed, for nurturing the environment that surrounds us, for taking the light of the sun and reflecting it upon us so that the earth might grow in a good way and blossom. Thank you for this time of the longing sun and the longing shadows. Thank you for the rain people and the cloud people and the thunder beings. Thank you for the stories and the mysteries that you offer us in a good way. And know that we honor you and love you. And we welcome you here always in a good way. Oh. Face to the west, please. Oh, ancestors of the west, to all of those that have come before, we thank you. We thank you as we come together as this one tribe of the earth to remember all the greatness that you've offered us, the memories and the ancientness of all that you carry in your memory. And whenever we're reminded of your presence in our life, is know that we're the children of your children and the generations of the future. And we ask you, ancestors, to continue to walk with us and to share your wisdom, to continue to cast your voice into the wind so that we might hear you when we listen. And know that we love you and that we honor you. And we respect all that you have given so that we might know this day as a family and as a tribe. And in a good way, know that we still continue to honor you in that way. Oh. And face to the north, please. Oh, ancestors of the north, to the winds of the great mystery and the unknown, we thank you. We thank you for each and every breath that we take in and that we give back to the universe. We thank you for the great mystery of the silentness of the voice that is carried within you, the echoes of the past. We ask you, Wind Nation, to hear us on this day as we raise our voice up to add our voice to the future so that we might be echoes for the generations to come. And help us to walk in a good way, in that beauty way, so that we might give the best of ourselves so that our children and their children and their children will know that we were here praying for them. Thank you, Wind Nation, for this opportunity. And know that we love you and honor you in such a good way. Oh. And face to center, please. If everybody would, just take a deep breath. Take all that stuff you think you know and unknow it and unlearn it. Go back to that silent language, that vibrational understanding of connection between all life and all living things. And knowing that the unknown is what truly feeds the seed of life. As we travel on this path together, ancestors, know that we walk this path together as one tribe and as one people. And thank you for all that has been given so that we might rise up in this moment to offer the best of ourselves. In a good way, know that we're here and that we love you and that we honor you. Oh.
As we sing our next song, we have baskets on the table. And any money that goes into the baskets during this song is money that we share with our community. We feed the hungry, we house the homeless. We help organizations that are working for the betterment of this community and our world. So let's sing a song.
Good morning, everyone. It's time for Jubilee in action, and we have a few people that are going to come up and make announcements, including Araya about the prayer flags and Laura about praying the vias, and maybe a few other people.
All right, we are more than halfway there with the prayer flags, but we still need help. So if you have not had a chance to make a flag, you can still make a flag today. We want your energy, so please put it in the flags. And then we need people to help us put them on these ribbons to staple them. So please, if you can stay after and help us get them stapled on. And then we're gonna need 1 or 2 brave souls to help us get them in the rafters, which will require going up a ladder. Jim had offered, but he was in a car accident earlier this week, and he's in a bit of pain, so I'm not sure that we want him going up on a ladder. But if anybody feels that they have that, body confidence to do that, we would love to have your help. So please let me, we're gonna be gathering in the room over there to finish the flags and then putting them together out in this area. So please come afterwards and help. Thank you.
So after the celebration, if you'll move your chairs to the wall and make room for us, that'd be great.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Laura, and I am teaching the 4th of a 4-part course this Tuesday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in this room. This has been praying through the vias. The 4 vias are the 4 paths of prayer. And this week we're going to do the Via Transformativa. And because we're doing the Via Transformativa, It takes a little longer to transform, so we're gonna move from 3 to 5 instead of 3 to 4:30. But the real reason that we're doing it a little longer is we've been doing finger labyrinths each week, but this week we're gonna have a labyrinth on the floor here. We're gonna walk the labyrinth. We're also gonna have some sort of sacramental ritual time. So it's gonna be a really beautiful time. It doesn't matter if you haven't come to the other 3, you can come to this one. There's a registration online on our website. And if you can't make it to the class from 3 to 5, we're gonna have a community labyrinth walk from 5:30 to 7 that night. So you can still come and walk the labyrinth without doing the class that day. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Karen Patrick, head of the Spiritual Journey team. We're meeting this Friday. We have a surprise for you. It's wonderful. I hope you show up. It is from 1:30 to 3 right here. Thank you.
Hi, Sally Carter from the Jubilee Singers. Good to see you all this morning. We are doing a piece from O Brother, Where Art Thou? Down to the River to Pray on the 26th. We would love to have more of you show up for a rehearsal. I think there's two more rehearsals before we perform on the 26th. So it would be great to have more voices coming into that. It's lots of fun to sing. So that's my announcement.
Good morning. I'm Wiley Garrett. I come to you as one of the co-leaders of the Minister Search Team, Search Task Force. Our task force has met several times, and we have so far, one of the products has been a job description, which will be in the Jubilee online, and you can look at that. This job description will also be given out actually tomorrow at the Creation Care Alliance and that symposium in Montreat. It will also be sent out other ways. In addition to that, we already have one person who has inquired, and we'll be in the process of talking to them, or at least having some conversations with them. The next thing will be a survey of the Jubilee community, which is almost ready. It's almost ready. We just need to make a few final edits on it. It will be ready. The job description says what we want that person to do. The input we want from you is what kind of person are we looking for? Those are two different issues and two different ideas. It will be in the form of choices. And as you make your choices, we're hoping to transfer those numerically to a spreadsheet so then we can get a look at the Jubilee community in terms of looking at the demographics within our community, but also looking at what those demographics are looking for in terms of the quality of the new minister. So we want to put all that together. And of course, that's going to take some time, as everything in Jubilee takes just a little time. But that's okay. Some of the in the next few weeks, we will be dealing with the timetable for the search. We also want to be working on a Jubilee resume. We expect candidates to give us a resume to tell us about them. We need a resume to give them to tell them honestly and realistically who we are. We also will be looking at a timetable in terms of dates for interviews, how those persons are interviewed, where they're interviewed. The other thing is that there will be conversations with the board and the finance committee about the compensation package, and also discussions about the most effective, efficient, and graceful ways to do those interviews with those candidates. So we look forward to the weeks and months ahead, and I think it's an exciting time in our community. I'm glad you're here.
And that job description will be up on the website later this week, maybe even today if I have time. A couple other quick announcements. Barry Brandt is still looking for people to join him on the relocation task force. If you are interested in helping us search and evaluate possible new locations, please get a hold of Barry. Let's see, coffee and new art. So a lot's going on in the hospitality room right now. Not only do we have the flag making, but we have that wonderful Nicaraguan coffee for sale at $10 a pound. We have a new artist, Sharon Sondel, whose art is also up there along with the original art. And yeah, there's a lot going on there. The Rainbow School Auditorium event in West Asheville, we've got a theme for it now. It's Exploring Together, a celebration of new beginnings. We've got quite a wonderful lineup of people that are going to be participating in it. Of course, the band will be playing along with Paula. We're hoping the Jubilee Singers will join us. Jim Taylor is going to provide some music, and let's see, John David's going to do poetry, and it's just going to be music and gifts and wonderful coming together and sharing of information. And let's see, I still need a backup for the newsletter when I go on vacation February 18th. And Wiley, that's JD over there now, but Wiley, who usually sits there, needs another backup other than JD for doing the live streaming. So even if you don't know technology, Wiley and I can really help you and show you just boom, boom, boom ways to do things that are pretty easy to do. So let us know if you're available for that. The Seeds of Celebration are up, of course, and Laura Collins is the person to contact there. Let's see, save the date. This is a little way out there, but on March 12th, the World Beat Band and Vineet Allen's band One Heart are going to join together in a fundraising concert. And it's going to be emceed by Mary O'Connor here in the Celebration Center. So it'll be a pretty cool event for you to put on your calendar and save time now. And finally, a quick real estate report from Bruce Mulkey. We've signed an agreement with 10X, the world's largest real estate exchange, to be entered into their March 20th auction with the reserve price set at $2 million. Bids at the auction could push the final sale price much higher than that, and it's possible that the closing could even take place during April. In the meantime, Beverly Hanks is continuing to show the building to prospective buyers. We have someone who's coming in this week to take a look at it. And the real estate agents are going to be here next Sunday, right after the Sunday celebration, to hold a Q&A so that you can pose all your questions to them and get the answers directly from them. And that is it for Jubilee in Action.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Maureen, and I'm with the Transformation Circle. And some of you might remember back in December 18th, when we had a procession of the Jubilee treasures, and we displayed them on the west wall and in the hospitality room for a while. Also that day, we had a gathering where the community was asked to respond to the treasures and to share personal memories and what was meaningful to you all at that time. The following gift is a compilation of those responses listed according to the number of times that persons mentioned items. So listen as Jubilee speaks.
Morning. Other words, let's see, sorry. Community was mentioned by most people and was described as being a place where they can come for love and joy. And where they experience love and mutual care, where they can be known and seen and engage with groovy friends. That sounds like somebody else I see this morning. Jubilee has a non-judgmental atmosphere with personal connection, commonality, and small groups amid chaos, where people feel acceptance of who they are and where they are, not judged for their personal beliefs. Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Other words to describe community were belonging, kindness, friendly, friendship, laughter, kindred spirits, like-minded people, compassion, tolerance, and growth, where people love one another and love deeply. A spiritual home where I can speak, use my voice, sing, share love, and take a stand. Where I can share sources of wisdom and an experience that sustains me. The community inspires us to make a positive difference in the world and helps me to be my best self.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
Music, time and time again, was highly valued. As secular and spiritual, with praise for Paula's voice and leadership, as well as the World Beat Band. Singing, dancing, art, creativity, and listening to my own voice singing.
Love is but a song we sing, fear's the way we die. You can make the mountains ring, or make the angels cry. Though the bird is on the wing, and you may not know why.
Our celebration and our ritual leaders who inspire and engage us bring a sense of wonder to us and the sense of spirit moving and awakening who I am and what I'm about in the world. Our celebrations are a multi-faith, non-doctrinal approach which respects and uses global sources of spiritual radiation, an open worldview, as well as the teachings of Jesus. The setting allows vulnerability, sadness, and tears, as well as safety and acknowledgement with an ongoing need for connection and the true spirit of love and compassion for all. Jubilants feel love from our staff who contribute to the messages that open hearts and help to create a spiritual home which values justice, freedom, and loving deeply.
Come on, people now.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, I'm singing the wrong part.
Together, try to love one another right now.
Here we go with a verse. We're going to sing a verse right here.
If you hear the song I sing, you will understand. Listen. You hold the key to love and fear, all in your trembling hand. Just one key unlocks them both. Is there at your command?
People value justice, the service to the community at large, outreach, and our commitment to keep this as part of the main thing. Jubilee learns from the earth and tries to care for the earth. We have an earth-based spirituality and an earth team, and we hear messages that speak to our souls and sustain us. We celebrate that we are all part of creation.
Come on, people now, smile and everybody get together, try to love one another right now.
so much. Whew. Feel that raise in vibration. Perfect opportunity to go into the known and the unknown. I invite you to ring and sing your bowls and bells. As we breathe into the prayer time, there are friends over there, Yona and Diane, to share communion with you. If you're online, you may enter your prayers into the chat. Let's pray together. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. How I wonder. How we wonder together. In prayer. In community. At the mystery of it all. I invite you to take a hand. It's nothing like looking up at the sky to really get a sense of the unknown. It's so dang big, so much we don't know. There's a lot of unknown happening in the sky recently. Oh, you can read into that, can't you? There was a celestial object. You don't know where I'm going with this. Competing amongst all the other celestial objects. Only makes it around every once in a while. Look at me. Look at me. Everybody else is looking at something else. I'm only around every 50,000 years. I'm a little green guy. I'm a little comet. Y'all checking out a balloon. Wait, we're comparing balloons and comets? They're both mysterious. There's a lot we don't know. We're comparing one people to another people, one mystery to another mystery. Forget apples and oranges. There's so much we don't know. In the night sky, under our feet, the hands we hold, asking questions of the people right next to us. How are you really doing? What's up in your inner sky? Talk about unknowing. that's where some real deep prayer and answer can begin. Give those holy hands a squeeze. And after we sing, let's share God's love with one another. Share God's peace.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here. My name is Kimberly, and I'm a friend of Anne-Marie and Michael's. We're actually neighbors. And I looked up some things that we're doing, and I have a song I'd like to share. And it's a way for me to share part of myself and hopefully get to know you all better.
I feel you, and I know that you
Kimberly. You know, some of you are familiar with this process of coming up and offering gifts, and I'm always so proud of people who do it for the first time. That first time you step up here and say, okay, I'm just going to offer myself to this community. So I hope some of you will take courage and do it more often. Listen now for these ancient words. First, we have a prayer by the Christian mystic Thomas Merton. My Lord God, I have no idea where I'm going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end. Nor do I really know myself. And the fact that I think I am following your will does not mean that I am actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does, in fact, please you. And I hope that I have that desire in all that I'm doing. I hope that I will never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, you will lead me by the right road, though I may know nothing of it. Therefore, will I trust you always, though I may seem to be lost and in the shadow of death. I will not fear, for you are ever with me, and you will never leave me to face my perils alone. And the Jesus story from the Gospel of Matthew in the 13th chapter. Again, Jesus asked, what shall I compare the kingdom of God to? It is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into 60 pounds of flour until it worked all the way through the dough. This is ancient wisdom and holy word. Thanks be to all that is wise and holy. All creation is wisdom and holy word. All creation sings wisdom in God. Hallelujah. So has anybody here read Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders? Like 3 of us, okay. Well, Lincoln in the Bardo was a New York Times bestseller that won the 2017 Booker Award. And I hadn't really read anything about the book except that it was critically acclaimed when I started listening to it on Audible a few years ago. Now, did I mention that this is an experimental novel? So I started listening, and I quickly realized I had no idea what was happening. There were lots of characters speaking and not making much sense. Well, part of the reason I was confused is that I didn't know the meaning of the word bardo. Okay, it's a little embarrassing to stand here as one who makes her living in words and to tell you that I didn't know the meaning of a word and I was reading a book about it. But once I figured out what the bardo was, I began to understand the book. Bardo, generally speaking, means an in-between time or space, an interval, a gap. But more particularly in Tibetan Buddhism, the bardo is the time between incarnations, when the soul is hanging out without a body. And depending on the soul and what it needs to learn or how it needs to grow, the bardo can be a kind of purgatory, for those of you who are more familiar with the Catholic term. The bardo is a time of not quite here, not quite there. And this book is about a graveyard full of crazy characters hanging out in this in-between time. So I recently heard my favorite Buddhist teacher, Pema Chodron, reflect on whether this life might be the bardo. So she flips the concept to imagine the time of incarnation as the interval between the soul's existence in another realm. I think it's an interesting concept that this life is the gap when the soul is anchored here in these bodies in time and space and not free in whatever that other sphere may be like. And this idea might help explain the sense that we have from time to time of being destabilized, not knowing if we're coming or going, not sure what this incarnation is all about or what we're supposed to be doing here. Anyone ever feel that way? Maybe it's just for a moment. Maybe it's for years on end. But when you can't quite shake that feeling of, what am I doing here? What is this life all about? Am I doing it right? Is there a higher power that can guide me? Have I missed the boat? Have I missed my chance? Have I missed my purpose? So Pema Chodron suggests that if we understand this life, this time, as an in-between time for our soul, maybe we can just relax a little more in the unknowing. Relax with all that we don't understand. Relax with our confusion without being so anxious about it. Relax into everything we don't yet know. Breathe. Recently, we have been singing Howard Hanger's wonderful little song that uses the words of Christian mystic Julian of Norwich. All shall be well. All shall be well. All manner of things shall be well. All shall be well. Now, these may be Julian's most famous words, and if you don't know much about her, they might sound hopelessly Pollyanna. It might help to know that Julian lived through the Black Plague. During her life, about a third of the people around her died of the plague. There is strong reason to believe that before she became an anchoress and began living a life of prayer in a one-room cell, she may have lost her whole family in the plague, including a husband and children. Then she almost died herself. And as the priest was giving her last rites and holding the cross over her head, she had a powerful series of visions or revelations about Jesus, about the Christ. And she spent the rest of her life, which ended up being very long, writing and praying about these visions. And in these revelations, she speaks of that feeling of seeing God and then not seeing God, of having connection to the divine and then losing connection to the divine. She longed to stay in that place of spiritual vision, connection, unity. But alas, she was just another human being having an oh-so-human experience, and so most of her days were not spent in that kind of mountaintop spiritual experience. Most of her time was down in the valley with the rest of us. And she prayed to God about this, about her longing, her desire to see more, to know more, to feel closer again. And in response, she heard this: if God wishes to show you more, God will be your light. You need none but God. In other words, don't long for what you don't have. God gives you enough light, enough connection. Even if it doesn't feel like enough to you, you can trust it is enough. If God wishes to show you more, God will be your light. Relax into everything we don't yet know. Breathe. Liz Gilbert of Eat, Pray, Love fame was on a kick this year with a similar message. She recently talked about what she calls America's pathological need for a purpose-driven life, and suggested that maybe in 2023 we try living without a purpose. As in the Merton prayer we read, she suggests that just because we think we're living on purpose, there is so much mystery about the workings of the universe that we may not really know our purpose. Our purpose may be a simple interaction that we have one day with one person while we're busy trying to create our life's purpose. Liz says she often finds herself in a self-judging mode. Am I doing enough? Have I helped enough? Have I produced enough? Am I leaving a legacy? Am I serving your purpose, God? And she says when she gets in that mode, she often gets this feeling of a very affectionate presence, saying, when I've got something for you to do, you'll be notified. And it goes on, you can't hear me when you are grinding so hard at trying to be so good. Liz notes, to be available to that notification, I have to say no to a lot of opportunities to prove what a good person I am. We can't hear Spirit's call when we're grinding so hard at trying to be good. To be available to Spirit's invitations, we need to say no to lots of opportunities to prove what good people we are. Breathe. So Thomas Merton, one of the 20th century's most important spiritual writers, wrote that prayer that we read today. And this prayer has been a relief for me over and over and over in my life. Sometimes just that first line can help me relax. My Lord God, I have no idea where I'm going. I'm going to read the prayer again, and as I do, I invite you to bring to mind an area of your life where you may feel just a little uncertain. And maybe if you are blessed with an extreme sense of certainty right now, you can offer this prayer on behalf of somebody else. My Lord God, I have no idea where I'm going. I do not see the road ahead of me. I cannot know for certain where it will end. Nor do I really know myself, and the fact that I think I'm following your will does not mean I'm actually doing so. But I believe that the desire to please you does, in fact, please you. And I hope I have that desire in all that I'm doing. And I hope I never do anything apart from that desire. And I know that if I do this, you will lead me by the right road, though I may know nothing about it. Breathe. So all of these spiritual leaders, from Pema Chodron to Julian to Liz Gilbert to Merton, are basically saying the same thing. Relax into the unknowing. God is giving you enough light, enough intuition. You are being guided, whether you know it or not. So, is there nothing we need to do? Well, we might need to unclench our minds and our hearts to receive the guidance. Trust that little bit of intuition we get instead of worrying about the loads of things we don't know, or probably will never know. Simply holding that desire to be grounded, to be connected, to be guided, to be here is enough. Holding it lightly, that is. Holding it with open hands, with humility. Following that next breadcrumb, just that one, even though you don't have a map and you're not sure where you're going. In the parable that Jesus tells today, he compares the kingdom to yeast hidden in a large amount of dough. Now, every time I mention the kingdom, I want to remind you that when Jesus taught about the kingdom of God or the kingdom of heaven, he repeatedly noted that this is a state of being in the here and now, not a place to go after death. And I know some of you tire of hearing me say this because I say it a lot. But in case there are others who have not yet heard me say it, I feel like it's important enough to repeat. So the kingdom or the realm of God is a state of being where we dwell in the energy of divine love. Now, maybe we experience that most fully at death, possibly, but the point of this life is to experience it more fully here and now. So today, Jesus says that this state of being, this place where divine love reigns, that's R-E-I-G-N-S. But maybe it's raining too. It's raining men. All right. So today, he says that this state of being is like yeast mixed into flour. I remember my mother watching as a child when she made her special sweet rolls, which I loved. And I would watch her put this small ball of dough into a large bowl and cover it with a towel and go away. And then hours later, we'd take the towel off, and here's this big, puffy piece of dough. It was just like magic. But 2 weeks ago, we read the parable of the mustard seed, that tiny seed that grows into a huge bush. And today's parable ups the ante, something even smaller, yeast. Something almost completely hidden from our sight, which nonetheless works its magic on 60 pounds of flour. Did you catch that number, 60 pounds of flour? What is that all about? Good grief, that's a lot. So this is what Jesus compares the kingdom to. Tiny, almost invisible yeast hidden in this large amount of dough and capable of completely changing it. Changing its size and shape and texture and even its taste. This yeast is in us, working in a hidden way on us, changing us without us even realizing it most of the time. But if we stay still enough for long enough, we will be changed. But that's the key to yeast, right? You can't be constantly poking and prodding and checking on it. If the dough has too much activity, it won't rise. The dough needs to sit in the dark. It needs to rest. So the parable also suggests that we can be that yeast, that we can be that bit of leaven that mysteriously changes the energy around us simply by bringing divine love into the room. Our yeastiness doesn't have to be overt. No one necessarily needs to see it or hear it. We bring the yeastiness of God with us through stillness and trust. Kima and Julian and Liz and Thomas all remind us that we don't have to grind away at this role of being the yeast. We don't have to prove ourselves or work ourselves into a frenzy. We can just lie there in the bowl with all that flour and let the divine fizz do its thing on us. We can relax into not knowing how this will work. We can surrender to the possibility that the work is done through us, not by us. We can just be yeast without anxiety, without certainty, without understanding the science behind the rising, without much of anything but a willingness to wait for our assignment and take the next small step. Just the desire, as Merton says, to please the Spirit of life. Just holding that desire without doing everything correctly or even working that hard. We don't need to figure out the hows and the whens and the wheres in order to be guided. When we rest in the dark of unknowing. When we lie down in the trust that something small and hidden is at work within us, then the yeast can rise in us. And when we let the yeast rise in us, then we can become the yeast for the world. And we can sing with Julian. All shall be well. All shall be well. All manner of things shall be well. All shall be well. Oh, yeah. So now we're going to get those bowls going around. We're going to have some more music by the band. And as these bowls go around, I invite you to just think, what's the yeast I'm offering to the world? Let's hold that in our hearts and offer it out.
Hello to tomorrow. Hello to tomorrow. Can't wait to get started. Can't wait for tomorrow. Yeah, hello to tomorrow. Hello to tomorrow. Can't wait to get started. Can't wait for tomorrow. Let's eat it, everybody. Can't wait for tomorrow. Hello to tomorrow. I can't wait to get started. Can't wait for tomorrow.
Okay, your task this week is just relax into the uncertainty. Relax with all that you don't yet know. Trust, relax, rest in the dark. Let yourself rise. Let's rise up and sing ourselves out.
Kiss from you to me. Kiss to bless our dreams. Kiss from me to you. Kiss keep moving through. It's the river of love, and it flows on through. With the river of love, and it walks through you. It's the river of love, and it flows on through. With the river of love. needed to hear.
Me too. I'm always preaching to myself.
I am unwritten, can't read my mind. I'm undefined. I'm just beginning, the pen's in my hand, ending unplanned. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, don't close, you can almost taste it. Really saw visions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Judge yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is when your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. I break tradition, sometimes my ties, how tie the lines. Oh, we've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. Oh, staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you could almost taste it. Really sure in our vision, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Judge yourself in words unspoken, live your life with arms wide open. Today is when your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. Staring at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you could almost taste it. Really sure in our visions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Judge yourself in words wide open, live your life with arms wide open. Today is when you feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Judge yourself in words wide open, live your life with arms wide open. Today is when your book begins, the rest is still unwritten. The rest is still unwritten.